night!
Hey!
Our favorite time of the day. I had to kick guests out of my house. I'm like, I have to go to work. You guys gotta go. So, all right. Do we have anybody else on? Yes, we do. We have Diane and Karen and Shannon. Do I squint?
Hi, Shannon.
Hi, Wendy.
And who is that? Katie with you, Lisa?
That's Heather.
No, Heather.
Katie's still in London for two more weeks.
Okay. Hello, Heather.
Hello.
All right. I have to close something. Yes. View. You guys keep chatting. I'm
Okay.
doing something here. So,
It was beautiful this weekend. I had my windows open, airing out the house.
So you don't want me to tell you that it was 80 degrees here today then, right?
In Florida.
You know, and that just, I love the snow. I love this time of year. I love being outside in this weather. I absolutely love it when there's snow all over everything. So I don't care that it was 80 degrees where you were. I think it's better here.
Wendy's bragging. Wendy's bragging. Was it beautiful?
Wendy's bragging. How did your class go?
Oh my gosh, I feel like it was life altering.
Wow.
So yeah, got to witness miracles. So who can ever complain about that?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
wonderful.
It's beautiful.
Well,
Yeah.
Wednesday, the topic is, how did I put it? I was trying to, I do have a vocabulary somewhere. I was trying to synopsis. Synopsis is the actual noun, but what's the verb for synopsis? Synopsisize? A topic that Karen suggested, but so I called it which healing modality should you use? So maybe we'll learn more about theta on Wednesday.
I'd be happy to share.
Awesome. And okay, so tonight's topic is removing blocks across lifetimes, which was a topic that somebody had suggested, and let me get the verbiage of how they put it, if I can find it. Da, 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 da.
I checked.
Oh, here.
I checked on Facebook and didn't see that there was any questions ahead of time. So
Right. No, I didn't
see how
either.
it goes.
Okay, so the person that, and I don't remember who this suggestion was from, but they phrased it, how does one know if they have blocks from previous lives, and how can one work to remove their own blocks to help them function better in this lifetime? Sounded interesting, so we'll see what we find out today. Okay, so we had more people than this signed up. It's 7:04. Let's wait another, couple minutes. Sometimes people forget, or like me, had company, and I had to. Well, I was nice about it, but they had to go. But
And, I have a question while we're sitting here. Has anybody noticed that the more they are on the call, the more it builds up? I think we've asked that before. And for me, it's the build up, which I love.
That's a good
anybody
gift.
else, is anybody else noticing changes, even subtle changes throughout
So
the
what
week?
say you?
Yeah.
I know for me, there's a definite difference. So there's two of us. Keeps me coming back for more.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yay!
Woohoo!
That's a good question. I don't know for myself. I feel like every session that I do, whether it's this or holding the retreat weekends or even one-on-one sessions, I really think that they all move me, shift me a little bit, you know, each one in different ways and to different degrees. So I don't know that I could extrapolate what was specifically that I could attribute to this webinar. But I consistently notice, you know, in my life, I mean, not like always on Tuesdays at 7, but, you know, regularly, I'll notice little things and I'll say, huh, I think differently about that, or I feel differently about this, or that person saying that didn't send me over the edge like it would have in the past, or, you know, stuff like that. That's an ongoing process, thank goodness, because all that drama gets tiring.
Very true.
You know,
Okay, so did anybody respond to that at all? And
Nope,
I
nobody
still
said
have the, is it the top is the new chats or the bottom?
The top is the new. The top is the new.
The top is the new, okay.
Yes,
All right,
ma'am.
we're at 7:06.
I do have a comment.
And we're still, let's wait, you know, one more minute. For somebody
What were you
comes-
saying?
What?
Lisa said something about a comment.
I do share these. When I travel, I am part of meetup groups wherever I travel. Like, for instance, I go to New Mexico. I love New Mexico. So I am part of meetup groups. I'm members of meetup groups in New Mexico. And I share this webinar with them. I send them to the people in New Mexico so they can either log on this or they can watch it on the YouTube. And I make sure that everybody knows that they can just send the link or to them, that the more we get it out there, the more love. I just feel that it would assist so many people. Share the link. Feel free to send to your website to sign on. I love it. And like I said, I have people that I know throughout, you know, throughout my travels that I share this with. So to all my New Mexico people.
Okay. Lisa, you're you're breaking up more than you have in the past, so I think you spit too much Mountain Dew into your speaker.
Let me get a straw.
Karen, Diane says, I feel calm and do look forward to these each week.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you, Diane. I'm so glad. All right, let's get rolling. Okay, so tonight's topic is removing blocks across lifetimes, which I think that'll be fun. So all of you think about questions. What does that mean to you? What do you want to know about that? And so we'll get to that after the healing portion. So for those of you that are new, I think there are some new people on. I'm going to I will be channeling energy from Source through beings, guides, and higher beings that work with me, my team, as well as other beings that have come in specifically. They have decided that they want to do this webinar. So, of course, when they're telling me, I'm like, you want to do what? But anyway, so they kind of facilitate whatever needs to happen technologically at their end, channel it through me, and then it goes out through to you. So I will post a PowerPoint slide on the screen so that I am off camera. And then I will do my little thing, say my prayer, and allow this to happen. So by my having that intention and allowing it to flow through me, then by you having that intention of receiving, it happens. That's the way things work at that kind of quantum basic level. So, if anybody has any questions, you got to post them now because we're going to get started. You ideally are comfortable either sitting or lying down. really don't be standing, because it's, you could get twinges and things in your body, and I want you to be safe. And you want to be comfortable that you're going to allow things to flow through you. If you don't feel anything, that's okay. If you feel emotional and need to laugh or cry or sing or spit or whatever, then do it. If you get an ache or a tension or something in your body, please try to breathe through it. That is something trying to work its way loose, and it'll stop after the time is done. If you just absolutely can't handle it, then then just shut down for a minute and come back. But ideally, by breathing and allowing, you'll breathe your way through it, like I said, and then you've allowed something to escape that needed to go. What else? Anything else? Okay, you guys are gone.
I'll just tell you a comment Shannon made. She said, "I agree with you, Karen. Some described it as an embryo exploding. The shifts happen so quickly and almost simultaneously, so it is hard to attribute causation to the change."
Okay, yeah. All right, so here we go, with no further ado, as they say. And I am going to share that screen, so you will not see me. You will not see Lisa and Wendy unless they actually start talking, in which case it'll go to them. So off we go. So be comfortable, and I might pipe in with a comment or two. I might not. Okay? Some of you have a stiff neck. Gently roll your head like a golf ball on top of a tee. Loosen up the neck a little bit. Shoulders back, relaxed. Breathe. All right. How was that?
That was lovely. Thank you. Wonderful.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
It wasn't the buzzy, intense that I get sometimes. It's just like that peaceful, easy feeling.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah.
Well,
Good.
I noticed, it's still a process for me as the channel, I mean, yeah, I was, born this way, but it's still a process of allowing, and there have been so many times over the years that I've had some experience that I completely am out there somewhere, and I would get scared and one, hurry back for fear of not being able to find my way back. But then also, then it would stop me from doing that in the future because I would be so freaked out. Now, if I get lost and don't come back to my body, oh well. Even though obviously I know that's not going to happen, but I'm not so concerned about that. But it's still a process of exploring. Like I imagine like an astronaut. They spend all that time studying, and they know all the science, the physics, and they know. I mean, it's amazing what they know about outer space, what they've learned about outer space from here. It's just amazing to me when they talk about, oh, this planet is made up of this composition of this and is this many miles away. And like, how do you know that? Anyway, but still, I imagine that they're out in outer space. I can imagine, even though they know all those truths, it's still a little. I would imagine still a little scary, and that's the closest thing I can compare it to, I guess. All right. So, anybody else have any comments? Wow. Okay. I'll take that.
That's a good one.
Okay. So.
Before, while you were getting started.
What? Did somebody say something?
I was just going to say David's comment.
Oh,
here we go.
Okay. So questions on removing blocks across lifetimes. Now, I don't remember whose topic that was. I hope that person is online tonight so they can get us started in the right direction. So while you're thinking of,
I have a question. How do you remove blocks if you don't know what they are? If they're from this life, this is like a multi-layer question. If you don't know what they are, you don't know when they came from, or what lifetime? How do you know? How do you know what to do? What do you do to get rid of them?
So, like anything else for healing, you have to stand in it to allow it to release. You can't be a bystander. You have to be in the game, in the thick of it. And so, as you experience whatever that block is, whatever the thing that happened, and even if you don't know the details about, you were 12 and you're living on this planet or this life or whatever, having experienced it as deeply as you can and letting it go. If you're talking about if you're working with somebody, that's one thing. Then obviously you're gonna allow them to lead you on that. Like for me, everybody that I work with, it plays out completely different. I don't have a set, this is how we remove blocks. It's completely different for every person. But if you're doing it by yourself, which is that what if you're more after if doing it by yourself, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Hold on. There's let go of outcome, let go of outcome, let go of outcome, which we hear across the board a lot in not only metaphysical things, but even in
Sure.
business models, and to just let go of the outcome and work with not business models, because obviously they're very outcome driven. Personal, I should say, personal matters. Hold on. Oh, okay. So they're saying that that terminology block kind of slows us down, gets in the way, because we see that as something negative, something that we should not have. When in reality, a block, what we call a block, is a lesson waiting to happen, a lesson to be learned. So if we could even change the terminology or how we feel about a block, instead of being like, oh, it's a block, I got to get rid of it, if we could say, oh, it's a block, it's an opportunity for me, it's something I need to learn, that in and of itself would help tremendously.
That makes sense.
This thing, it's all as it should be. It's not something that's wrong with us.
Okay.
Okay.
Kathy wants to know how we can tell if we have a block.
By that negative definition or the definition of a lesson to be learned? Because we always have lessons that we need to learn. Hold on. Well, simple, basic formula, recipe, definition. If there's someplace you want to go, something you want to achieve, something that you want to be, something that you want to take on, and you have that vision and you aren't able to get there, you're stumbling over a block. So that there's something going on that's getting in your way, because there isn't anything that should get in your way. And we know this. I mean, we know people with, missing limbs are competing in Olympics. I mean, that's on a physical aspect, but I mean, we know story after story of people that do things that seemingly they would have a block that would prevent them from doing it. So if there's something in the way, then that's something that needs to be addressed and overcome and learned.
That was a good answer. I like it.
Okay.
There's not another question, but before it slides too far down on the screen, I want to say that Shannon said that it was very intense. She felt a pressure by her third eye, and it was like something turned off her thinking brain.
Awesome.
2 of her cats came to join the healing also.
Awesome. Yeah, I want to do a session about pets and animals one night. So
Kathy,
love to get that on the schedule.
Kathy said my dog is with me today, and then I said my dog comes running also.
Oh yeah.
And then I said I think it would be a good topic is what animals feel during this.
Yes.
Because they seem to come running. The animals come running.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, from Aristotle at least, people thought that animals were just machines and didn't have emotions and things. But Darwin thought that they did, but people ignored that. Whatever, they accepted evolution, but they didn't accept his theories about consciousness and emotion in animals. But now things are changing. My mom told me a lovely story today. She called up. She's like, "How did I tell you this?" I don't know where she read it, someplace. This in Alberta, I'm assuming Canada. Some dog. His name is Gus, and he's very protective of his yard, and chases away any animal that comes into his yard, just like my cat does. So they just know that's how he is. So it was hot, and they had the kitchen door open to try to get a breeze. There was the father and son or something sitting in the kitchen, and a dog, an emaciated dog, was coming across their yard, which was strange because Gus didn't let anybody in. But even stranger, Gus was following behind it and kind of nudging that dog towards their kitchen door and then into the house and then over to his food bowl, which was empty. And then Gus nudged the food bowl to get the owner's attention and ask them whatever his signal was for fill my bowl. He was doing that, and so they filled the bowl, and then he pushed the dog to the bowl and walked away, let the dog eat the food, finished the bowl, and then he nudged the dog back out the door, and then he chased him out of his yard.
That's adorable.
I love it.
Animals are so
what a great
wonderful.
story.
Aww.
Okay, you're full tummy now. Get out of my yard. Okay.
There you go.
Anybody else have any
Karen's
questions?
got a question for you.
Okay.
Yeah, Karen's got a question. How do you know if a block is from a past life or this life? I seem to have love intimacy blocks. For example, how do I know if they were acquired previously or childhood?
Well, my first gut reaction is what difference does it make? But hold on. And I don't mean that flippantly. I really do mean what difference does it make? But hold on. They're saying it's usually a combination. And if you have that vibration, and I've seen this, anybody that's worked with healing, you see this over and again. You have that vibration already. You come in, and that's, you want to learn some lessons, and so you're aligned, and you attract things of a similar vibration. And until you raise that vibration, you're going to keep bumping into that in your eternal life as you continue to grow. And same as we have infinite time. I mean, we live forever. Infinite worlds, infinite beings, infinite anything that you can, there are infinite people having webinars across infinite planets. And so there are infinite frequencies, infinite blocks to remove, infinite growth to happen. So you have that vibration, you come in and you run into that, an experience or multiple experiences in this life that is going to align with that, and that's your opportunity to grow. Now, obviously, you're 4 years old and something happens. Do you know enough at 4 to clear it? These new children coming in, a lot of them, yes, but most of us, no. But as we grow and mature, we have the opportunity to say, I'm not going to let that define me. I'm not going to let that be who I am. Yes, that happened when I was 4, and this is what I'm going to do to heal myself from that, and this is how I'm going to move forward, leaving that behind me. Does that answer the... Yep. So when the block is from this life particularly, they're showing you come in, if you came in and there was something that you took a dive on, some other issue maybe you took a dive on, then they'll slam you with this one here. So that would be a block from here, but that has more to do with something else that kind of slid down. So any new block from here is because you kind of fell down on the job on something else. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
To me, it does.
Yeah. So then
Kathy E says,
new blocks, so you go, oh, wait a minute, I got to pay attention. What happened here?
Karen said it does help.
Okay. Thank you.
and
Kathy has a Go ahead.
You know, Kathy E. says, this reminds me of working with trapped emotions. The emotion code can help identify these stuck emotions, which can cause different symptoms in a person.
Yes. Yes. Emotions are huge. When I first got in 2002, when I first started working in vibrational medicine and was taking training for this for electrodermal screening, they were saying that, at least from a holistic practitioner's perspective, and this included, doctors and anybody that was looking at things holistically, that 70% of cancer arose from emotion, had an emotional root cause. 70%. That's huge. And cancer is just one way in which an emotion can manifest, So, the thing with emotions, oh, I wish I had it handy. It's too far away for me to get my fingers on it right now. I have this picture, or it's a bunch of cats. It's the same cat, photo after photo after photo after photo. And above each photo it says, one says happy, one says frustrated, one says angry, one says, ecstatic, one says sad. So it's a series of this cat with different captions, different emotions. And the expression on the cat for each emotion is the same. So what they're trying to say, that we really don't experience our emotions. We for some reason, societally, is that a word? Socially, I don't know, whatever. Socially acceptable. It's kind of not socially acceptable for people to know that you have emotions. Whenever you read about like the upper crust people, especially like in the Victorian times and early 20th century, you didn't let anybody know how you were feeling. Everything was you had to keep very even keel. And I don't think we've recovered from that. So one, we don't actually experience the emotions that we do have. And, you've got joy, why wouldn't you want to experience it? But for some reason we don't. And if you have sadness, why not experience that as well? That's a process. It's something that's happening to you. And you are feeling. It is part of your experience. Now, I'm not saying wallow in it and don't, make a habit of, wallowing in something. But if you genuinely are having an experience, then experience it. So there's the trapped emotions that we're not allowing ourselves to experience, and then there's the ones that we're hiding. Hold on, let me get the next picture. They're going, keep going. Okay, but now I lost track of where I was. Sometimes it comes so fast, and then I'm like, like when you first start, riding your bike, I'm like, oh my God, did I hold on to my, oh my God, I'm gonna fall. Okay, where was I?
Trapped emotions.
Like a pop, it just... A boil, like a boil. You want to just let that out. It's poison to leave it in. Too much of anything. Balance, balance, balance. We want to be in balance. And I guess she really didn't have a question, so... Does anybody have any questions? Any other questions? Oh, you just asked. Thank you. And while you're all thinking about it, I want to send a huge appreciation to those of you who have invited your friends and loved ones to share in this webinar. We need it to keep growing and growing. So if you tell 2 friends, and they tell 2 friends, and they tell 2 friends, you know how that works. What was that? It was a shampoo commercial or something? I remember that. Do you remember?
Vaguely, yes.
Yeah.
What was it?
I don't think it was. What? What was it? What was it?
I don't remember.
Oh.
You tell two friends. God, I can remember when they showed the photo that would multiply. I don't remember what that was.
You know what? Was I breaking up in the beginning when I talked about New Mexico?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, then can I repeat it? Or am I breaking up?
Sure.
Okay. So when I travel, I belong to other meetup groups. So I belong to meetup groups in New Mexico. I belong to meetup groups where I travel. And I send them this link. And I share it with everybody that I travel with that are also into the metaphysical spiritual realm. So they do. So I was just explaining in the beginning, it's wonderful to share. I send it to everybody. I sent it to Lynn in Nebraska. I sent it to somebody in Canada. I sent it to the New Mexico people that I deal with. I share it. I love it. I think the more it gets out there, the more we can share, the more powerful it becomes.
Yeah.
It's the energy behind it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I really don't think that. How can I say this? I know that these beings. I mean, again, they talked me into doing this. I was like, I don't want to do a webinar. What am I going to say? What am I going to do? I forget it.
Shannon's got a question.
They always get their way. What?
Shannon's got a question.
Okay.
How do you remove a block?
So again, what we were talking about earlier about you have to stand in it and allow yourself to experience it, because so what happens is how can I explain this? Oh, well, I'll share something that happened for me. For many years, probably, it doesn't matter. Quite a few, I knew that something had happened to me when I was like 4 or 5 years old. I asked my mother, do you remember anything happened to me traumatic? No, she didn't remember anything. I asked my father, did he remember anything? No. My aunt, nobody remembered anything happening to me. But it kept coming up, and there was something, it was so scary, and I would go in meditation, and I couldn't find it. I would work with, I worked with different healers and, psychics and, all kinds of different people. What is that? What is that thing that I'm so afraid of? And we even one time, we used a technique where you put whatever it is in a box. And it's in like a cardboard box, with the flaps. And so your psyche knows that it's contained in the box. And so you cautiously approach the box so you can just kind of peek over the flap and look at it and step away, and you can give yourself time to see it without, overwhelming yourself. We tried that. I couldn't even look in the box. I just could not do it. And then, I can't believe I can't think of this part of the story. When I finally found what it was, God, how can I not remember how that happened? I do remember how that happened. That's a beautiful story, but that would take too long and be too hard to explain right now. It turns out that what had happened is I had been taken to a Catholic church, I'm sure my parents or somebody, and I saw the Christ statue, the crucifixion. So here is a being that I knew, that I had been with, that I loved, that I respected and worshipped and loved in my eternal life. Here I am, a small child in this life, and I saw him bloody and stabbed and, with the thorns and everything, and not being able to understand. I think I was 3 or 4. I said 4. It doesn't matter. Not being able to understand. I had no idea. So that freaked me out, and I shut down. And so for all my life until I was, mid to late 40s, that was a huge block for me. So to heal it, once we figured out what it was, I had to go there and be that little girl again, go back to the crucifix and engage and be with it. And in this particular case, what ended up happening, I know this, well, you guys are all metaphysical, so maybe it won't sound crazy, but but he came off the cross and came and talked to me and comforted me, and then I knew everything was okay. My point is, you have to go back to that experience, because I ran from it all those years and it held me back. But once I went to it and readdressed it and stood with it, then I was able to let it go. It doesn't mean it didn't happen. It doesn't mean I forgot about it. I'm not freaked out anymore. And it's really hard to be freaked out and you don't even know why you're freaked out. So whether you know what you're freaked out about or not, either way, you have to go back and stand in it. And even if you don't know the details as you're standing in it, you just feel the feelings, that's good enough. And again, whether you can do this on your own, or you need or prefer to have a healer or somebody work with you, then do it that way. Either way. Call on your guides, have them help you. There are many ways to do it. You get to choose which way you want to.
You're kind of touching on the answer to the next question that popped up, and maybe you can expound on it a little bit more. But it says, how can we release on some blockages when we're not aware of them?
The first thing they're saying is pray. Hold on. So something about a prayer that includes, or at least has the intention. Remember, you don't have to have the words specifically so much as having the intention. I mean, you can just say, God is good, if that's what you want to say, with the intention that I'm saying this because I want to clear this block that is holding me back from X, Y, and Z, or this anything that is holding me back. Please allow the circumstances to arrive, put me in the right place, whatever your verbiage is. Or you can be very specific and just say, please, Lord, help me to overcome anything that is hindering me from being all that I can be. They're talking about, I've seen this many times with clients. Your back, when you feel yourself energetically, and if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then just bear with me. We put up a block on our back, especially because we can't see back there. So we want to feel protected. We want to feel safe. So there's a block there that kind of stops energy flow. So breathing through and allowing that to calm down, allowing that to collapse, release. And you can tell yourself, hey, I'm just putting it down temporarily. The wall's going back up when I'm done. Because if you need to feel safe, you need to feel, you need to work with yourself. If it's too much to say I'm going to drop this wall forever, then don't say that. Say I'm going to drop it for the next 1 minute, 5 minutes for this experience, and I'll put it back up when and if I need to. But the point is that is a big hindrance in this concept of clearing blocks, because we have that shield in the way.
That's a good answer.
Did I answer the question?
I like that answer. I understand it. I understand it personally.
Okay.
Yeah,
everybody else understand it? And please, anybody, if you don't understand something that I'm saying, or I'm not clear, or I'm using a concept or phrase that you're not familiar with, just put in the chat. Say, well, what did you mean by that? And I'm happy to answer, and nobody's going to think you're silly or stupid or whatever, because we've all had those questions, and we all are learning. So, and there might be somebody else that is, afraid to ask the question. So you ask. If you don't know what I'm saying, then just ask me, and I'll tell you.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
And if I can't tell you, then Wendy or Lisa will do it or whatever. Because a lot of times I'll say something, and then they'll explain it better than than I can, or
just differently.
Differently, yeah.
Yeah.
Same thing, different words.
Same thing, different words. Absolutely.
All right.
Kathy said, yes, that makes sense to me. That was her question.
Awesome.
You did it.
Oh, Shannon, Karen just answered the question. Never mind. Okay, cool. That was a twofer.
Hey, we've had
Okay, we're at 7:50, so we're going to wrap it up here. Anybody else have any questions before we go? Post them now. And
we've had some people say that they are interested in the animals.
What, Lisa?
We've had people say that they are interested in the animals.
Yes, well, let's get that on the schedule soon. I've got Wednesday scheduled. We could do next Sunday. We don't have that one picked out. So Wednesday is going to be, what did I say it was going to be? Which healing modality should you choose?
Right.
Use.
Oh, yes. Thank God you remember.
That's because I spent an awful lot of time working on the dang registration form. I used a different one, and so I couldn't just kind of... it took a lot more work than usual, but I think I kind of like this version better. So I'd love to hear what you guys think, if you like this version better or the one that we had before. I mean, how much does it matter? I have no idea. But you got to experiment and play and whatever. Okay, I won't have Mountain Dew. Oh God, I used to drink Mountain Dew when I was a teenager. Yeah, I moved out when I was 17, so I would drink Mountain Dew like crazy. And now, if I had Mountain Dew, oh my God, I would be climbing the walls. I cannot handle caffeine. I drink a pop every once in a while, like a real, with sugar, like a Mexican pop or something, because it's so good. But I can't drink even the whole can or the whole bottle, and then all those bubbles and everything. So my hat's off to you that you can drink Mountain Dew.
No.
Oh, can you see you? Oh, yeah. See you on Mountain Dew. All right. Good night, everyone. I don't see any more questions. Then,
Good night.
save them for next time. Have a great week. Good night.